interruption, but I think we're back here. Got the green dot. Do I? Looks as if I do. Let me turn this up just in case that affects me at all. Here we are. Are we back? Hopefully you can hear me. Um, like I was saying in the last one, we're gonna be making the T-shirt. I guess I'll show this stream again. The design that we got. I'll try to show it as best as the camera will take it. Gonna be putting that design on some T-shirts, along with the name, the barbecue pit name, um, and with the pick'ems every 3 months that we do picks, we're gonna keep track of the score and every event. Normally, I go about 6-6. The occasional 7-5, whatever. Uh, a little bit better, but mostly 500. Uh, so I'm challenging myself to the new year. Um, and that's going to be that I'm going to keep the scores. We're going to do it legit. I'm going to announce my picks. We're going to release pictures of the picks that I have for the fights. Of course, we're going to exclude fights that maybe happen day before, something like that. Fights drop, something. We have to make exceptions here and there. This is the fight game, but yeah, we're going to be keeping score and starting the first card in January, which I think is on ESPN Plus, if I'm not mistaken. ESPN UFC Fight Night. Yep, ESPN Plus Cejudo and Dillashaw. So that would be the first card, and it's hard, dude, because I don't like Dillashaw, and I really want to be biased in the picks of the fights, but can't do that. Can't do that because I don't got the money to be giving away um, the 500 or 100 package. Yeah. But at the end of every 3 months, if I get over 500, we're gonna have a giveaway for a T-shirt with the brand on it. Yada yada. It's gonna have rules to the giveaway that'll start that 3 months and end in a week after that 3 months. So it'll only take about a week. We'll still be, maybe the next card will happen whenever maybe the giveaway happens or is announced before the card that Saturday, or whatever the case is. Um, but uh, but yeah, man, and we're gonna give away a shirt if I'm over 500, if I'm under 500, or if I'm 500 or under for the 3 months. Every UFC card. Um, then we are gonna give away 2 T-shirts and a sweatshirt. The sweatshirt's not like this. I got like this Adidas thing, no no hood, long sleeve, like thick kind of, like sweatshirt. I don't know how to, like a sweatsuit. Think about. Um, so yeah, 2 T-shirts and one of those. So, and you can get with me beforehand, and we'll get your sizes and all that. Make sure we send you the right size and everything. Uh, but yeah, pretty cool logo, pretty cool T-shirts. Um, I'll put out pictures of the T-shirts and all that once we actually do make them. They're in the process right now, um, but soon to come. Soon to come. Giveaways. Everybody start paying attention. You guys want to put your picks in? Maybe we'll do like if whoever I'll do giveaways, and then if people actually want to put their picks in and actually put their picks in every week, if anybody beats my record, whoever the top person is, I guess, in the pool of people that come in and predict, I'll give them, a T-shirt just off bat, just for winning the 3 months. Um, or for that, we'll do 6 months. For the whole pick thing, if somebody starts picking with me, we'll do 6 months just to be, quarters, halves, whatever. This past weekend, Max Holloway defended his featherweight title. Brian Ortega, uh, TKO. The corner stopped it. Not the corner. The doctor stopped it in the corner before the 5th round. Brian Ortega had a broken nose, all sorts of crap, man. Who else was? Ioana lost to Shevchenko by decision. I knew that was gonna happen. I predicted that one correct at least. Nelson went to comeback win over Oliveira. I was wrong about that one. Um, Diego Santos knocking out Jimmy Manuel. I was correct about everything. Santos knockout second round. That's exactly what happened. Um, so I think I should get 2 points for that, but I went 6 for 6 overall in the night just because I count the prelims because I predict them anyway. What are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? UFC Milwaukee's coming up. Big event coming up this weekend. My girls. This past weekend, it was my company's Christmas party, so we didn't really see too much of the card. We've seen the last couple fights, um, and then this weekend is going to be my girlfriend's Christmas party. But the thing is, this kid that is working with my girlfriend actually does MMA in the area. He's a kid that does MMA, so I'm hoping me and this kid could team up and turn on the Milwaukee card since it will be on Fox. And there's no way whoever this person is who's hosting it at their house shouldn't have Fox. You know? Unless they don't get cable. Taking our chances there. But hopefully we can pull that off. But Alan Quinta, Kevin Lee. You don't want to be biased here, but it's a classic. Alan Quinta's a decent wrestler. You've seen him go for takedowns against Khabib. We've seen, he got taken down a bunch of times by Khabib, but he was also a little bit resilient sometimes. He didn't get taken down every takedown. He made Khabib work for his takedowns, he came in off that very short notice fight for Khabib, who he was going to come in and fight. I think it was Paul Feldner, a completely different fighter than Khabib, but took it on short notice. Did very well wrestling. I think people forget that Alan Quinta is a very good wrestler. He's got huge knockout power in his hands. Uh, Kevin Lee also a pretty decent boxer, a great wrestler. Um, but we've seen him get rocked by power, by Edson Barbosa's kicking power. Yes, it was a kick. This was a spinning kick. It was a different technique than Alan Quinta's boxing, but we've still seen him get rocked by power, and that's interesting to say the least. His last Alan Quinta's last fight was in April. He beat Kevin Lee by unanimous decision February 2014, which was actually Kevin Lee's UFC debut at the time in 2014. In 2014 is 4 years ago. So in this past 4 years, Kevin Lee has fought 13 times. Very active fighter, 10-3 in that run. He's got big wins over Francisco Trinaldo, Michael Chiesa, and then most recently against Edson Barbosa in April. So he also fought back in April, same as Alan Quinta, coming off about the same kind of training camp leave type thing, same amount of time. It's a good fight. Alan Quinta's got good wins. Jorge Masvidal, Joe Lozon, Diego Sanchez, big names, names that I could see that Kevin Lee would beat also. So even though I want to be biased, you know what? I'm going to be biased. Because if I don't be biased and I lose, it's going to hurt here, man. And these don't count anyway. So we're just seeing how I'm going to do. So I'm going to be biased for right now. Alan Quinta knockout first round. Because that's what I want to see. I think Kevin Lee could do a little bit of damage with the wrestling. If he can get Alan Quinta to the ground. Like I said, for his wrestling, it could be very tough for Kevin Lee to get him there. So I'd say knockout first round. Alan Quinta. Co-main event of the night, you got 32-year-old Edson Barbosa versus 28-year-old Darren Hooker. Not too much of an age difference there, but I mean a little bit of a Um, that's a tough one. 28-32, I think, is the biggest 4-leap stretch of your life. Biggest. Think about it. 10-14. What was that? What was that? You were easing. 14-18, chilling. 18-22, it was like, yeah, you're getting shit together, but it was chilling. 22 to whatever, chilling, 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 chilling. 28-32, it's like it gets serious, man, in those 4 years. But Edson Barbosa, he's coming off of what, 3-fight losing streak right now. Or no, he's coming off a loss. Kevin Lee, and then he was on a 3-fight winning streak from April to March, April 2016 to March 2017, beating Anthony Pettis, um, Gilbert Melendez, and Beneil Dariush. Then he went on a 2-fight losing streak to Khabib and Kevin Lee. So Khabib and Kevin Lee, not just Kevin Lee. I'm sorry, Khabib. We all forget about you dominating Edson Barbosa. Also, sorry, I apologize. Dan Hooker, on the other hand, he's got kind of a rough start coming into the UFC, a 3-3 record. When he come in and start, on the verge of getting cut, but goes on a 4-fight winning streak, turning it into a 7-3. He's got wins over Gilbert Burns, Jim Miller, Mark Casey, Ross Pearson. Losses include Yair Rodriguez, top notch, Jason Knight, who's a tough fighter, and both of those were decision losses. So I got Dan Hooker, and I probably got Dan Hooker by decision. I don't know. I don't know why I'm saying this, but Dan Hooker by decision, man, because it doesn't count yet. But Dan Hooker. Third fight, Rob Font, Sergio Pettis. I always liked the Pettis brothers. Pettis' first fight at 135 because he heard about the 125 close and he said, "Yo, I'm out of here." So he fights Rob Font. Tough fight for him coming into bantamweight. This guy was a CES featherweight champion before coming to the UFC. As soon as he came to the UFC, moved to bantamweight. Goes 5-3 since getting in the UFC. Losses always to big names. He loses to Rafael Assunção, Pedro Munoz, John Lineker. Notable wins, I'd say Thomas Almeida. He's got pretty good. Not bad. He got Thomas Almeida like 2-15. So Thomas, a pretty good Thomas Almeida. Almeida, whatever. Sergio Pettis, of course, this is 35 debut, 8-4 in the UFC. In the UFC's flyweight division. Sorry, I was about to say 125. Flyweight, big wins in his life to Joey Benavidez, Brandon Moreno, John Moraga. He's got losses to Cejudo and José Formiga, though. Tough seeing him come up a weight class. I'd seen Rob Font getting some wars, and I think I'd say Rob Font by knockout. Maybe Sergio looks better up a weight class, but I'd like to see it a fight before I pick him at 135, especially against a guy like Rob Font, who's such a good striker. I know Sergio Pettis is over there with his brother and everything, but I love you, Sergio, but I got Rob Font by knockout, probably first or second round, I'd say. And then the I guess what would this be, the fourth and the last fight, because I think it's the last fight on the main card that I'm going to predict, is 35-year-old Jim Miller versus 29-year-old Duke Bronx, Charles Oliveira. And it's still a 6-year difference. It's not big, but it's that 28-29 to mid-30. It's tough, man. It's that same thing as the Hooker Barboza thing. I hate to always pick the young guys, but that's just the way it's going to end up turning out. I'll go over the fights anyway. Jim Miller on a 4-fight losing streak right now. Hasn't won a fight in 2017. 3 fights in 2017. Didn't win one of them. Then came in 2018, lost that fight. Now he's going to fight again his last fight. Last card. second to last card of 2018. He's gonna fight, and he's gonna lose again. He's gonna be on a 5-fight losing streak, and he might get cut from the damn UFC. Anyway, um, he's off a win though. He's off a win in 2018. I'm sorry. I apologize. He's off. This is his third fight in 2018, and he just beat Craig White in September. Actually, just recently. Fuck, I forget about Craig White. Craig White's like he came in. We came in on that short notice fight for Neil Magny. Got beat up. Ever since then, I was like, I forget paying attention to fucking Craig White. But the 4 losses in that losing streak to Jim Miller, just to mention, there's Dustin Poirier, uh, Anthony Pettis, Trevor Aldo, and Dan Hooker. 15 out of his 29 wins are by submission. That's interesting, but just telling you because uh, Charles Oliveira has 16 out of his 24 wins by submission. That means that Oliveira has 16 wins in submission and 8 wins, half of those in knockout or decision. As to Jim Miller, who has 15 wins by submission and 14 wins by knockout or decision. We got to take in part that there are variables you have to put in here, like experience. So there's a lot more fights for Jim Miller. So that's why his number was so high, the 50% number. But I still think there's something to take away there. Both gentlemen very, very skilled on the ground, and it's going to be a skilled ground game. And some people might say it was a boring fight, but I'd say it's going to be a very skilled fight on the ground. Charles Oliveira being the younger guy, I think the jiu-jitsu often it is about being smarter. So the more, the guy that's more of a veteran, the guy that knows more about the sport, he may do better in a straight jiu-jitsu match. So I think Charles Oliveira may have better success maybe if he tries to stand at least for a little while with him. We'll see. I got Jim Miller actually for a submission. If Charles Oliveira clips him up top, maybe hurts him, and then gets him on the ground and tries to submit him, I think it's also a possibility. I think Oliveira is a great submission artist, and he could land a submission also. But I think if they're both able, and then they just come at each other, get in a little exchange, take each other down, and then get into a straight up jiu-jitsu match, kind of jiu-jitsu MMA kind of match, I think Jim Miller's going to take him to school. I know there's no such thing as a strictly jiu-jitsu match in MMA, but uh, we have seen skilled jiu-jitsu guys go in there and pretty much treat it like a jiu-jitsu match, except they could punch each other in the face. And I think that could be what we could see. And Jim Miller, being the more experienced guy, knows more holes, knows more opportunities to make those shots in a jiu-jitsu match. So Jim Miller's submission, maybe even a TKO. We'll see. But I got Jim Miller there. I wanted to talk a little bit about the fights that were coming up. We already talked about Dillashaw Cejudo in January. Jones Gustafsson, we'll talk about that one later on. That's the last card of December. Last card of 2018. We talked about Cejudo Dillashaw 233. I think we yet to have a main event for UFC 233, if I'm not mistaken. Yep, Robbie Lawler, Ben Askren going to be on there, but that's looking like the co-main event. John Lineker was supposed to fight Dominic Cruz, but Dominic Cruz looks to be injured, so they're looking to put Cody Garbrandt on that fight with John Lineker. Joseph Benavidez defeats him for Figueiredo. That's a great fight. James Vick, Paul Felder, another sick fight. Marcus Perez, Anthony Hernandez. That's a great fight. let's see, it says announced fights. Con Gracie, Alex Caceres. We talked about that last time, but that's clutch right there. And it says here Jose Aldo, Cub Swanson, but Cub Swanson said he never agreed to that fight, so I don't know about that. But that would be a sick card. To be the first pay-per-view of January. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Looks like 10 cards that will consist of the first 3 quarters. It looks like March 23rd would be the last of that card. Those, like that quarter, and that location is to be determined, along with the March 9th, which is to be determined. Sunset Moraes on February the 2nd in Brazil. That's good. Damian Maia Layman good. That's no good. That's no good, man. Somebody call a doctor. Somebody call a doctor. Looking good about to tee him up. Damian Maia, sorry. Might be your last fight. 234. Robert Whitaker, Captain Gaslam, Israel Adesanya, Anderson Silva. Great headliner and co-main event. First card on ESPN. It was going to be February 17th in Phoenix, Arizona. Not much more to announce here, as they don't really have anything booked further in these dates. Tish Torres got to fight Nick Diaz. Jorge Masvidal is supposed to be on 235 in Las Vegas. Announced bouts. Nothing for the March 9th, which is to be determined. Looks like it says Priscilla Ketzelhera versus Molly McCann is supposed to be booked for the O2 on March 16th. ESPN Plus. That's going to be the 5th event on ESPN Plus. That's the last one they got announced here. So that's it for us, guys. I'm about to go write me an article about who the guys, Max Holloway and Brian Ortega, should fight next. Max Holloway, of course, a lot of options there. Lightweight, crazy amounts of options. Featherweight, not as many options, but we're going to go over the couple options that he has. Christmas party this weekend, nothing. Next Tuesday, of course, we'll be back here. We'll touch a little bit, see how we did. We'll come in with the scores. Like I said, it was 6-6 last week. I'll tell you guys the scores. We'll go over it just a little bit, and then we'll get into the predictions for John Jones and Alexander Gustafsson. Oh, matter of fact, no, we're going to skip a week. So next week, we probably won't do any predictions. We'll probably go over the card, and we will do a day in UFC history, probably, more than likely. And we'll go into a bunch of shit. Probably come up with some more things for the upcoming year for the barbecue pit. We're full of ideas, man. Everybody tune in. Yeah, boy.